Today's show is dedicated to the women of this country. There's gang rape on one side, there are allegations of marital rape on another, and yet it appears that institutions are not coming to rescue immediately. I want to begin with the gang rape that has taken place in Mysuru. A college student decides to head out with a male friend, and then they get waylaid by these unidentified men. The male friend is attacked, the girl is gang raped and is in a critical condition right now. Take a look at this special story and how it has become a political face-off. Remember, no arrests yet in this case.
9 years after the gruesome Nirbhaya gang rape in the national capital, once again, India has been put to shame. This time in Mysuru. A student of a private college was allegedly gang raped by unidentified people on the outskirts of the city. The victim, riding pillion with her male friend on a two-wheeler, was on her way to Chamundi Hills when a few people blocked them. The gang initially demanded money. When they found nothing, they assaulted her friend. Then they dragged her away and allegedly raped her. More than 24 hours after the crime, the police have failed to make any arrests in the case. Protests erupted in Mysuru, with the ABVP hitting the streets, demanding an impartial probe into the incident. While the police are yet to crack the case, Karnataka Home Minister Araga Janendra is not helping with his comments either. At a time when empathy is needed, the minister has questioned why the victim was out after 7 p.m.
ಏಳುವರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರ್ಜನವಾದಂಥ ಪ್ರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದಾಗಿತ್ತು.
That is not all. Under fire from the opposition over the law and order, the minister made a horrible rape analogy.
ರೇಪು ಆಗಿದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನವರು ನನ್ನ ರೇಪ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಹೋಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ರೇಪ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
The opposition took exception to Janedra's rape analogy and added fuel to the fire.
Please do not use the word rape so lightly. If you're not able to do your work, so please go home. Please, we request you not to use this word so lightly. Also, the question is, this is an independent nation. Why can't people go anywhere, anytime that they want to go? The question is, what were the Mysore police doing all this while?
The state government has rushed ADGP Pratap Reddy to Mysuru to monitor the investigation. The incident has jolted the town of Mysuru, which is usually known to be a safe city. With Nolan Pinto, Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to go on the ground and speak to my colleague Nolan Pinto, who's been tracking all the latest on that. Nolan, have any arrests been made yet? What is the police chief stating to you? And importantly, this is becoming an absolutely vicious political face-off.
Well, in fact, instead of all the energy being focused on actually finding the culprits, over here it's completely become politicized between the Congress and the BJP, between the government and the opposition. Now, we have seen what has really happened over there. Let me talk about what's really happening from the investigation point of view. A special investigation team has been set up. ADGP Pratap Reddy has been made in charge. Now, what we are told is that they have actually tried to get some information from the victim, but she's not in a state of mind to speak to them. Regardless, the police have gone ahead with their investigation. What they have done is this. Through the mobile towers in the vicinity, they are actually trying to figure out if those culprits used their mobile at that particular point of time. They've also found liquor bottles over there. They're trying to find out from any wine stores or liquor stores nearby if anyone came and bought liquor from them at that particular point of time. There's another individual apparently who passed by over there and saw a few bikes. They're trying to ask him if he remembers anything about those bikes, if any of the numbers or registration plates, so on and so forth. So this is what the police are doing as of now. They're also trying to figure out from CCTV cameras in the vicinity. Basically, there's nothing as such where it happened, but at a distance, if these individuals actually passed on that particular road, So while the investigation is going on, here you have the Congress and the BJP fighting it out. The BJP first told the Congress, the opposition,
so that
not to
perhaps is the
politicize.
ugly aspect of it, how the leader should have just empathetically come forth, ensured that these men are not allowed to let go. Instead, they are busy fighting among themselves. Thank you so much, Nolan Pinto. Do keep track of this story, and we'll continue to bring you latest as well. Now, remember, because this has become a political face-off, the Congress party is charging at the BJP. I'm now joined by the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee Chief, Dodahalli Kempegowda Shivkumar. DK Shivkumar is now joining me. What do you have to say, sir, about the comments by the Home Minister? Because as an opposition party president, how are you stepping up attack?
See, it is the mirror of the BJP government in Karnataka. When the Home Minister asking why she went at that point of time, that means it shows that there is no freedom for any woman in Karnataka. This is not the first incident which has happened. There is various incidents connected to 376 and no actions have been taken in this. The Honorable Home Minister, newly appointed Home Minister, has said that he has been raped by the congressman. He is a legitimate, very senior-most politician. I don't want to comment on his education and his seniority. He is a well-learned man, born with a lot of with ideology. He himself telling that he has been, the Home Minister has been raped. I appeal to the DG. You have to file a case on all those people who have raped the Home Minister. It might be DK Shivkumar, it might be Siddaramaiah, it may be XYZ. Whoever has raped the Home Minister or trying to rape him, because you have already witnessed recently in the High Court of Kerala, even if a wife doesn't, is not been requested to cooperate with the husband, it amounts to rape. That is the judgment of this country. This is the law of the land.
Yes.
When such is the case, where the Home Minister tells that he has been raped, naturally cases has to be registered on all those people who has raped, whether he may be a male or a female. You can't take this statement very lightly.
So how are you,
This
sir? How are you stepping up attack against the BJP and against the minister? Are you even demanding a resignation this time?
No, I have already appointed a committee, about 12 members committee under Mr. Ugrappa and various our Mahila leaders, our legislators and all of them. They will be visiting Mysore. They will go to the place, including the local legislatures and few chairmen who have been involved with this child, whatever you call the commissions. So they will look into it. They will submit a report to us. The interim report has been asked. I don't want the resignation of the minister because he is under rape. We have to protect him. I don't want his resignation.
So should the girl's family, should the residents of Karnataka expect that the Congress party will take this issue further, especially the manner in which the girl has been questioned for staying late out? Are you going to pick this up in the upcoming assembly session?
Definitely, definitely. We can't sit and quiet. We have to protect the Honorable Minister who has been raped and let the case be go on and FIR has to be registered.
All right, here's hoping that the opposition will step up attack against the ruling party in Karnataka. DK Shivkumar, thank you so much for speaking to India Today. I want to now also have a discussion. I want to know from different leaders of Karnataka and of course from the country, what do they have to say about this issue? This is not just about gang rape. Remember, this is about casual rape analogy that is thrown by politicians, the manner in which as if it is a joke of some kind. Joining me now on the panel, S. Prakash from the Bharatiya Janata Party. From the Congress party, Aishwarya Mahadev, the party that has been stepping up attack against the party at not only at the centre, but of course in Karnataka as well, the BJP. I'm also now joined by Talish Ray. He's an advocate. She can tell me more about what is the legal procedure to go ahead with this. First to you, S. Prakash, please tell me why use a casual analogy? And of course, now that the matter has heated up, is the party at the center, the leadership in Delhi, going to take any action? Are they going to reprimand your Neta, the Home Minister of Karnataka?
No, the incident is very sensitive in nature.
Yes.
Anyone who's reacting towards it must be very careful and he's in line with the sensitivity of the issue. The minister has already considered that it was not necessary to make such a remark, and certainly he's going to clarify about it. I'm not defending the statement or anything.
Okay.
The incident itself is unfortunate. I expect the police to investigate thoroughly and nab the culprits latest by tomorrow. And I understand from my own sources, the police have already identified the suspects. I'm sure they will be arrested.
Aishwarya, are you convinced with that clarification that, there is a clarification that has come from Janendra now? Let's not push it further. Police is going to investigate this.
You know, Pooja, to be very honest, if the Home Minister had the sort of courtesy and the decency that Mr. Prakash had, I don't think this incident would have even occurred where it became so unfortunate. Man was trivializing rape and saying he had been raped when there was a brutal case of gang rape in one of the most safest cities. Mysore is my home district. I was born and raised there. And we have always, even as young girls and boys and whatever it is, nobody's ever questioned why we're out there. But this smacks of a systematic misogynistic attitude of the BJP. This is not just Karnataka BJP that talks like this. From women's clothing to what time they were out to what they eat. Remember the chow mein comment, right? You see that the BJP systematically has ingrained this idea of it being acceptable to be misogynistic and to keep women inside, even though 70 years or how many ever years after independence. And right now, all we request the Home Minister to do is to do his job. This is a shocking incident which has brought the district of Mysore out onto the streets in outrage, and the Home Minister should do his job rather than ad hominem attacks. Whether she's out at night at 7 or 12 in the night, it is your job to ensure her safety, not to question why she was there or what she was doing. To cast aspersions on a victim is the most shameful thing that you can do.
Mr. Prakash, that is the point here. The point is not just about the investigation of the gang rape allegations. That investigation is currently on. But for a Home Minister who is justifiably being asked about the law and order by the Congress party to say, they are trying to rape me. Why was the girl out at 7:30? A girl is currently critical, sir, in the hospital. We do not know if she'll even survive. She's not been able to give a proper statement to the police. And for the Home Minister of the state to say, the opposition is raping me, the girl is out at 7:30. Is this the line of the BJP? Otherwise, there needs to be a clear stand taken by the BJP against this.
No, I never supported the statement made by him. I already conceded he could have avoided that statement. But the Congress party should not politicize it. Certainly, if any rape has happened, particularly in Mysore, as Aishwarya has put it, it is a very peaceful city, and it is a very shocking, such a dastardly incident has taken place. Let us not politicize it. Let the culprits be arrested. And no way I'm defending the statement made by the minister, and he himself is not defending it. He will certainly clarify about his stand about it. In the fit of the moment, he may have said that, and that even that he should have avoided being a Home Minister of the state. And
Mr. Prakash, the reason I'm doing this debate today is, and this is not about the BJP, the fact is that politicians in the past, we all remember what Mulayam Singh Yadav said, ladke to ladke hote hain, boys will be boys, as if it's some kind of a game to sexually torture girls. And then we also remember Sheila Dikshit, may she rest in peace, she had said about a girl, why was she out at night? So there have been different politicians. There have been different, even Mamata Banerjee had casually mentioned. My point is, why are the politicians giving such casual remarks?
Not supporting it.
Okay, let me then go across to an advocate, Talish Ray. Talish, the fact is, the investigation is on. But do you think this also spreads about the manner in which the politicians speak? How can this now, do you think this can be challenged legally? I'm also now on this show going to do a discussion and a segment on the marital rape. On the same day, we're talking about these different instances about women. How is this now a legal concern that women can take up?
So, Pooja, I think you raised a very, very pertinent question about the accountability of public leaders in terms of how they must deal with security, safety of women's issues. And I think that's important because when we are looking at, we have somebody who had made an honorable spokesperson who made a statement that this is not a political issue. Number one, women's right is a political issue. Women's safety is a political issue. It has to be a political issue. We are half of the electorate. And if that is not something that women are going to call out for, those that support women are going to call out for, then are not going to have any sort of political will about it. Then the second issue, if we are to look at it legally, I think one of the challenges that most women, and especially those that are practicing in this field, we have is that we've been constantly demanding what happened to the fast track courts that had been recommended by the Justice Verma Committee.
Okay.
There were supposed to be fast track courts which were supposed to deal with crime against women. There is a kitty that is there. There is funding that is there. What happened to that? Where are those fast track courts? And eventually, when we look at all of these statements, we also have to recognize that it is not just merely about supporting or not supporting a statement. It's also about realizing that the moment these kind of statements are made, what is in effect happening? It is definitely misogynistic. Yes, we are in a patriarchal society, and therefore misogyny is rampant. But what it does is that there is a chilling effect. This victim shaming has a chilling effect, so that the next time there is some student who's stepping out somewhere, there is going to be this effect within themselves that, oh my God, if I'm out, isn't that the first question that will be asked, that I'm the victim and therefore I should be ashamed? Because please remember, the leading cause of rape is a rapist and not the victim's behavior.
That's a very important point, yes. And I think that also needs to be put out. Aishwarya, I want to have this question to you today, and it will be on record, remember. Tomorrow, a Congress Neta could be making a similar comment. As a woman, as a politician, are you demanding that one politician shouldn't make such a comment, especially for such a sensitive case? And perhaps if there is, there needs to be an apology coming in, not a clarification.
Pooja as a woman, and more than that, as a human being, and especially with the basic sense of decency and assume human rights, that whoever it is across the political spectrum, be it my party or any other political party, any statement which basically victim shames, anything that brings out misogyny and also basically forces the victim to have to sit and give you a character witness, anybody across the board who makes such a statement, I and my political party have the strongest condemnation for that. And I think we have walked the talk in also asking people to offer apologies across the board. But Pooja, if I may take a second of your time to talk about how this is a systemic, far more deep-rooted issue that is not just about one instance of rape. This is not about one Hathras. This is not about one Delhi Cant girl. This is not about one girl from Mysore. This is the larger systemic issue where the criminal justice system has failed to, one, keep people safe, the law and order, of course, and second is to ensure adequate and quick recourse to the law.
That's a fair point.
Whether the Nirbhaya Fund,
that's a fair point, yes.
Yes. Verma Committee, I also talk about the Nirbhaya Fund.
Okay.
What happened to ensuring the safety of people?
I think that's important. That, for such instances, the fact that these men think they can get away by raping women, and then we have politicians not showing empathy. My final point and question will be to the BJP spokesperson S. Prakash. Sir, the Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai said it is a sensitive case. The police chief says the investigation is on. Do you think that the politicians of your own party first need to apologize, not just clarify, apologize to the family for raising questions on the girl staying out? And importantly, are you assuring today on India Today that these culprits will be caught in no time and that law will be followed in this case?
Madam, these culprits must be caught and punished severely. There is no doubt about it. And I am sure by tomorrow, all of them will be behind the bar. Police have formed a SIT and they are looking into the entire incident. They are doing their job and they will be arrested. I never said that it should not be it is not a political issue, but it is not a political issue for any political party, I said only. Okay. It is a women's issue and a very sensitive issue. Everyone who has to react to this must be very careful and responsible and should not hurt the feeling of the family or the girl who is a victim here. I'm of that opinion.
Thank you so much, S. Prakash, for that assurance as well. Thank you to Aishwarya Mahadev and importantly Talish Ray for telling us the legal aspect of it. And perhaps here's hoping that after these allegations, after these claims, remember, do not, for the politicians, do not use the rape analogy so casually. ask the victims of rape what they feel when politicians use this analogy so casually.